Hey guys, welcome back. In this interview clip of mine with Bruce Kulick, he shares his thoughts on the current state of the music industry. I did this interview with Bruce Kulick for my documentary, What is Classic Rock? If you'd like to see the full documentary, the links are available below. This video is previously unreleased footage. Make sure to subscribe for more.
I do feel that the record industry has been completely turned upside down to a point of I don't know even how it can figure out really what it's supposed to do. People are getting their music in different ways that didn't fit the old model, which really worked. David Crosby, who I met at one of the rock and roll fantasy camps that I recently did, and I asked the question, what do you think about the music industry that you're asking me? Him being someone at Woodstock, okay, you know? And he's very vocal and very bright, and he was very clear that, you know, the record companies, you know, shot themselves really bad and killed themselves as soon as they put out CDs. Suddenly there's a product that can be replicated, that there's no loss in generation, you know. Yeah, you can, you know, record off of an album and then share that to a friend, but as it goes down the line, it starts to sound like crap. And it's not the same, okay? But as soon as digital music was distributed, and the computer, which helped create digital music, is in everyone's hand, including now their phone. Hence, you see photography places going away because I can take a great picture with my iPhone. Suddenly, how do you protect the money you give that artist, you know, even if it's $100 grand or a major artist is going to get $1 million, how do you protect that product that they're, you know, how do you make your money back? You can't. And then the rates that the streaming, you know, companies are allowing for the artist, although I do think that some of the industry has their hands in that, but everyone's not really clear about it, if you get what I mean. So they are seeing more money than the artist, but they're not seeing what they used to see, because there is no staff, there is very little activity in the sense of what is a record company. I know they've needed to do these 360 deals to survive, but you can't go to a heritage artist, which is another word I call artists that have been around a long time that you know who they are. You know, you can't expect them to give you everything for something unless you're giving them enough money that they never have to think about working again after they did their commitment, you know. The Madonna money, you know what I'm saying? So those 360 deals, which refers to the fact that, yeah, they'll, you know, put out your music, but they have their fingers in your merchandise and in your touring, and so in other words, everything that generates money for a band is now part of the business model for the label to be involved with you. That's only going to be for new bands that are struggling, not for the artists that we're talking about. I mean, even I don't need that. And I can survive, you know. So the fact that they even have to go to that is just mind-boggling, you know. And again, until they can figure out, you know, how to make the artists, it's very sad. Like songwriters that I knew that were so in demand and everything, because they could really make money having that hit for Heart or that hit for Journey, and help co-write a song for one of the Kiss guys, you know, if people aren't, you know, buying the music so that there's money generated for the publisher and so on, you know, how do you expect to get the hot songwriter? Diane Warren, who I oddly had a dream about last night, I have no idea why. You know, she's written, you know, some stuff in my world with Kiss and Michael Bolton and all, you know. She does well still, because there's still writers like that need to be in a movie song, you know, and she's an incredible writer. But the whole model of how everybody is getting their music and paying for their music is so different that the business behind it is just not somewhere where I could predict where it's going or if it's still in a free fall. What I find a lot of the new artists that are popular, they have that producer guy, you know. And that guy is the guy, let me tell you, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with that. They're talented, that producer guy, but he's got 5 guys that give me some beats, give me some this, give me some that. And that's what they do. And then here you go. You may see their name as a writer, you may not. I don't know. That's up to that producer, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, all of that is so much different than Steven Tyler and, you know, Joe Perry hashing out a killer new song, you know. So it's different. It really is. And those hit guys, you know, those artists that go to that hit guy, there's a guy that's very famous from Sweden that's a hit guy, and, you know, and then there's the guys here in the US, and, you know, I don't fault any of those people. They have talent, they seem to be able to put out, you know, a hit product, you know. But it was different. I think it was a little more very important for that kind of organic, where the band guys really define what they're about, and they're less about looking for the outside person. Many of the classic rock bands would use a hit producer, you know, Metallica, Bob Rock, okay, yeah, you know, define their sound, and he's been a part. We had Bob Ezrin, who's worked with, you know, from Pink Floyd to Alice Cooper. But again, that guy's trying to write with the artist and bring in the strongest elements of people that they know. All right. So I just think maybe the artist comes through more, and now that some of the new people, it's really more about the voice for them, you know, that they have that hit voice. The guy in, you know, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, and that's like certainly not classic rock, that band, even though I enjoyed some of their albums very much. You know, he had a little Gene Simmons demon doll on his keyboard where he used to write a lot of the stuff. I mean, these people have to be influenced by somebody, you know. And that, I think that's the beauty of music, is that everybody, I don't like new artists that try to sound exactly like anybody, you know. Sure, share your influences, but make it your own, you know, to be if you're going to copy Van Halen, there is a Van Halen, don't bother, you know. Take those elements that you love that makes Van Halen so special, but then put your stamp on it and you know, go, you know, hit the ground running, you know. Rival Sons is another new band that clearly they're based in classic rock. I was very impressed when I saw them. And they do it a little different. They're not trying to be any specific, you know, classic rock band, but that's a new band that you know, is out there, you know, and there are others like that too. The problem that there may not be a household name is the way we now digest music and are exposed to music. I remember a friend of mine turning me on to Muse, and I was kind of like, that's a little Queen, a little Radiohead, a little this, but I really like it, okay? And they became much bigger past the album that I was first turned on to the point where I won't not buy one of their albums, okay? And I heard they put on an incredible live show using all of the elements of a big rock concert, you know. So do the country stars, but, you know. And I feel like a band like Muse really represents the current, you know, kind of scene, because he's brave enough to put that crazy thing on his guitar to make the guitar sound like a synthesizer, yet he plays like a motherfucker, and his music is quite powerful. So only because of a band like Muse, Radiohead before that, even though they were a bit more complex as a band, I don't know if they're going to change the world, okay, but they can sell out arenas. And that means something, because if a band can do that, then you know there's other people who have that desire, okay, and they want to headline, and maybe they'll woodshed enough the way the Beatles did, go to some, you know, sleazy club and play for 2 years together as a band, as opposed to sitting in their bedroom on a, you know, a laptop with Pro Tools, all very like this. For me, music just has to communicate to people. It's got to make me feel something, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot of disposable pop that's huge out there that I don't get how it means anything, okay, to someone. And then again, I'm not a 12-year-old girl growing up in, you know, Ohio that's what all her friends are listening to, you know. Certainly, at some point, they're going to hear, you know, crunching A chords from the AC/DC and go like, I like that too. You know, I just always feel that. Or you can't deny when you hear Led Zeppelin or a catchy Beatles song. Well, they're all catchy to me. I mean, I just always feel that even if they are attracted to disposable pop that I consider, once they really sit down and hear some of the stuff that was from the generation that I really feel shaped, you know, the best stuff of the music world, that they do respond to it. Because it's undeniable music. It reaches out and grabs you, and if you didn't hear it the first time, it will shake you by the second time.